Sean Sheen here for Severe Miss alongside Dave Green from obviously Bellator with Bellator Dublin coming up here on Friday. First question I want to ask you, I've been thinking about this if I got to speak to you this week. I wrote an article for Sherdog this week talking about Bellator's expansion and really dominating the market in Ireland. In the UK and Ireland, who is Bellator's biggest competitor?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I read that article and I was very impressed actually because it was the story I've been trying to tell for the last year, and I think you put it into very articulate words, and I think you hit the nail on the head. You know, we're building massively over here, and I genuinely, and I don't mean this arrogantly, I don't see a major competitor for us in the thing that we're trying to do. You know, there's some great promotions. You look at KSW in Poland and the likes of that, but what we're trying to do is set up shop pan-Europe and do what you see here today, which is bring big fights with full stadiums or full arenas and available on great TV platforms such as Virgin 2 in Ireland, which I think is the first time we've had a free-to-air event in Ireland. So it's all about breaking new ground all the time with MMA and with Bellator.
I want to ask you about the TV deals in a second, but you know, in that article I talked about the UFC, and it's almost not feasible for the UFC to put on a card now because Bellator has pretty much all the Irish talent. You know, Cage Warriors is some good Irish talent as well, and they're definitely building that as well and coming back to Ireland. So it's a good time for Irish MMA. But is that a tactic from Bellator to sign all of that to kind of take the market away and own the market in Ireland?
I wouldn't say it was like an absolute tactic. I think we just want to show our support in the local markets. And when we started off on this adventure, if you like, for Bellator Europe, we set up shop in London and we had events in Wembley, as you know, and we've just announced. But Dublin was very much on the radar, and it was a key cornerstone in our plans. And we've been here twice this year, or we will have been here twice this year after Friday. And part of that process is to get the local talent. And luckily for us, there's a lot of talent in Ireland. So I think we did go on a bit of a supermarket sweep, if you like, and picked up the talent that was there. So I think it was important for us. If nothing else, to sort of populate their shows and have these really deep cards,
So there's kind of been two groups of Irish MMA fighters came through, the ones you have now, and like the Carl Pindrets, Conor McGregors and all those, and they were brought through by Cage Warriors and Ian Dean and Graham Boylan, and I suppose as people who care about Irish MMA, we trusted them to do that, to bring it through. Now Bellator have most of those fighters. What kind of backing can you give to Irish fans who hope to see these fighters get to exactly where they need? The proper matchmaking, Jude Salmon's a great matchmaker, but the proper backing, the proper promotion, the proper fights to get them where they need to be.
Well, I think if you know me, I've been involved in Irish MMA for a few years, and I think you look around, like Keith Crosby, James Gallagher. I'd like to think we're part of that story from the start. So it's our job to make the stars. I mean, the guys do their business in the cage on the night, and it's us to build people who want to see. And I think we've done that, and I think Bellator's almost within the year has almost proved that we're in here for the long haul, and we're backing the talent. I think it's been a seismic shift over here in terms of the professionalism of the sport and what the guys can aim for, and the sort of road to success, if you like, fighting not only in the 3 Arena in Dublin but globally for Bellator. I think is been hugely attractive for the guys, and for once something that could actually think about as a professional career, and it's not just the one guy who maybe gets to fight in Vegas. It's bigger than that and broader than that.
That's one thing I actually noticed today. All the fighters said I can be more professional. I have the money just to do it and stuff like that. So, just a transition here to the television deals. And I think the television deals have improved an awful lot. Something I've criticised Bellator for. It's gotten very, very good, but it's not perfect yet because that middle section of the card, we can't see it until 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, Friday night. Can you explain to people why that's the case?
Well, it's really hard to keep you guys happy. This is the first thing. But look, I mean, it's a legitimate question, and I think and the reason why is because we're bringing a Paramount card over here as well. So for those guys in the arena, they're going to see the likes of Benson Henderson fight in Ireland on Friday night. Yes, that's going to be on a Paramount card. So their deal is, we have to show it in America, and they show it at the same time. So we show it on Sky at the same time over here. And I understand the frustration with that, but if you look at it on the whole, we're bringing more content to more easily accessible platforms than any other promotion I can think of. You've got the prelims on the Bellator app. If you're in Ireland, you're getting free-to-air MMA for the first time, which I think will bring us brand new audience, and it's going to be really exciting for people who maybe can't make it to the arena. And then, in the likes of the UK, we're live on Channel 5, so we're on big, broad platforms, probably showing to more people than you even imagine in terms of our ratings. So, yes, yes, not every fight's available live on Friday, but buy a ticket for 3 Arena. That's the way to see it.
I believe UFC Dublin was on free TV in Ireland, doesn't it? Am I right?
Was it? Was it?
Not all of it, but not all of it's on free TV for Bellator as well Friday night. So I have to figure out that. You were reminding me of the app, and I'm delighted you did. Right. So I'm someone who watches loads of fights. I love to, break down MVP versus Kylie and all these fights. So I went on my Bellator app, looked up Norbert Navigny. Some of his fights are brilliant. I can look at these fights. I went on MVP, looked him up on the Bellator app, and there's not a single Michael Venom Page fight on the Bellator app. Is that something we can think about in the future that will be changed? Or someone like me who wants to go and watch these fights, old fights, will be able to see it there so we can prepare for the card coming up?
Absolutely, and I think if you look at YouTube and what we've been doing on there as well, we're making the library more and more accessible across the board. So I think you'll see some big changes. I mean, it's a lot. We've got a lot of content, a lot of library, and we're archiving that as we will. But one thing you can't level at Bellator is, I think, the accessibility to our fights generally, and I think that will come more and more, and it'll be easier ways for you to find your MVP fight.
Okay, last question here. You read that article. I'm delighted. We see James Gallagher, the young, great Irish talent. We see Benson Henderson, Miles Jury, and all the MVP coming through. James Gallagher has talked, and he did a couple of interviews today about maybe not fighting Ireland anymore, maybe going to America, maybe going for these title fights. So, one, are we going to see James Gallagher more here? And two, are you going to keep bringing back those big stars, and maybe a Pitbull over here, maybe the other stars to Ireland, a couple of times a year?
100%. I mean, I think we've proven it this year. I mean, you can't. Every fight we've done this year, we had Pitbull in Newcastle, Primus in Birmingham. We had that huge card in London, and now we've got the likes of Spence. And here, of course, we're going to bring people, and that's part of our DNA, part of the way we're making our shows, and that's our USP. That's what we do.
Okay, I like last thing. People have been asking me to ask you, Glasgow. When are you coming to Glasgow?
Good question. I'd love to go to Glasgow. I think it's be fantastic for us. We've got a huge fan base there. Arguably, we need to build the roster a bit as well for our Scottish talents. We've got Bungard, who's tells me he'll fill an arena, but maybe I should just take him up on that. But I think it's one step at a time. We can't do everything straight away. I think we had to solidify the market here in Dublin, as we have in England, and Scotland's very much in the crosshairs.
Evergreen, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.